and good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you to this webinar and thank you for taking your time. This is a recording of a webinar that has taken place in German a few weeks ago, and now we are happily announcing that we're doing this webinar in English. And it's my great pleasure to welcome our two guests, Adrian Hornberger and Jan Essig, and it would be great to introduce you to our listeners.
Yeah, well, my name is Jan Essig. I'm a product manager at Tapio since the beginning of Tapio, and yeah, my responsibilities are the whole cosmos of tools and materials. So that's why I'm on board today, and I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and my name is Adrian Hornberger. I'm a joiner. I did an apprenticeship as a joiner at zieflekoch GmbH in the Black Forest, and afterwards I started studying wood technology at Technical University in Rosenheim, and did my bachelor's degree together with Tapio and zieflekoch.
Yeah, great that you're joining us today. Many thanks. My name is Julia. I'm Julia Kasper. I'm also working in the team of Tapio. I'm a product manager. Yeah, Adrian, thank you for your introduction. It would be great to hear some more information about zieflekoch and the company you've been working for.
Okay, so let's start with zieflekoch, the joinery I already did my apprenticeship. Yeah, zieflekoch is a medium-sized carpentry with like 120 employees, so pretty big for a carpentry, and they're producing hotel furniture. In the pictures below, you see a couple of projects they realized, so hotel rooms, reception desks, restaurants. And the reason why zieflekoch is such an interesting customer for Twinio and Tapio is because they have a really huge variety of the materials. So every hotel wants their own colors, their own designs, their own decors. So zieflekoch needs to be very flexible with their materials. And yeah, that's the reason why they need a digital solution.
Yeah, really, really great pictures and atmospheric rooms you create there. Great. So our today's topic is Edgeband chaos, how to manage material resources efficiently. And therefore, we chose an example of a medium-sized German carpentry that you just got introduced to. And we're very happy to give you some inspiration for your business, but it will not be a one-size-fits-all concept, rather the first steps for your business that you can undertake in the context of tool and material management. And therefore, I'm quite happy that we have such a good example that we can present to you today. Before we start, we should have a look at what tapio is, and therefore you can imagine a furniture production, and therefore we know that the workshop is quite colorful. So we have machines, we have tools, materials, and services from various manufacturers, for example, that you would need to in order to produce a kitchen. And here different manufacturers come together at the workshop floor. And that's where Tapio comes into the play, because we say that with our ecosystems, machines, tools, materials, and so on, and services are jointly connected. So we're more or less a platform on which the digital tools can connect machines and data can be exchanged. And that's so important for your digital workshop to run it efficiently. So this is why we believe in the idea and the beauty of the ecosystem, where the informations are jointly used for your production to get more efficient. So we are here today for a very specific topic, and therefore, Jan, we're very much looking forward to your introduction to the pain points that you identified regarding the tools and materials management in practice.
Yes. Yeah, so what we did in the past, we had a lot of interviews with different customers, like from small, medium to large size companies. And we really wanted to know where the real pain points are. So one big problem was during our interviews, the customers told us that they don't have any transparency regarding their tools and materials, or like Edgebands. No transparency where the Edgeband is located on the shop floor. So that means like they actually don't know if the Edgeband is available, plus they don't know the condition of the Edgeband, which means like how much rest length the specific Edgeband has. So it's more or less a problem then, because you have search time, you have to search where the Edgeband is, then you have to find the right Edgeband, and you still don't know the rest length of the Edgeband. So this is a really big problem where the customers asked us to get like a fast and easy to use solution.
Yeah, I really could imagine that when looking into our family-owned workshop. So Adrian, you also had a look inside the workshop, and how does it look like at zieflekoch?
Yeah, as I already said, zieflekoch has a really huge variety of their materials. So of course there are standard materials, and during the project I did a little material analysis to figure out the problems. And here are some results of the analysis. So you can imagine that zieflekoch offers their customers around 25 different decors as standard. And if you have 25 decors, you need 3 different heights of these wood panels, which means we raise up to 75 different standard Edgeband materials. And the next step is that zieflekoch only uses for around 70 or 60% of their materials out of the standard stuff. So we have approximately 100 different materials, Edgeband materials, in the whole production. And that's just too much to manage it in your head or manage it manual. So they really need a digital solution. And in the next slide, we see the consequences of these variety. And this is a box of trash. So they throw it away. It's Edgeband stuff from 4 or 5 months. And the reason is, as Jan already said, they don't know where the material is and how much material they have in their storage. So the reason is, if there's a new order, the project manager will just walk to the employee at the Edgeband machine, asks him if there is enough material left or if you need to order new material. And it's just the easiest way to say better order new material, because if the material will runs out during the production, it will be like the worst case ever. So they order more and more and just don't have any idea how many they have in their storage.
Oh,
And
that's crazy. Do you have an idea of how much is worth in this box?
It's hard to say, because I really can't say it exactly, but I mean, 1 meter of these standard Edgeband material costs like €1. So you can imagine it's just a lot, and really a reason to think about your process and how you can optimize it.
Yeah, so we're speaking about a 4-digit sum
Yes.
of material that's just wasted here. All right.
Okay, and so that was the first problem. We figured out that they don't know how many material they have in their storage. And in this picture, you see the second problem we figured out. You see an Edgeband shelf with a lot of Post-its, white Post-its on it. And they have, I think, 10 or 20 of these shelves, and that's the second problem. They don't know where the material is. So if there is a new order, the employee is just writing these post-it. It's handwritten with a custom number and custom name on it, and the employee from the edge bending machine starts searching for these post-its. So he just walks through the shelves, and sometimes he's lucky and finds the material in like 1 or 2 minutes, but often it's more than 10 minutes because there are too many edge bends and he need to call the employee from incoming goods or need to call the project manager to figure out where the material is. And sometimes they just recognize that it's even not delivered. So it's just wasted time.
Yeah, it really seems to be a bottleneck in production, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So after speaking about the pain points and problems on site, Jan, could you present to us the solution that you found for these identified pain points?
Yeah, so we really concentrate in the beginning on those pain points which Adrian already mentioned, like transparency and condition of the items. So the solution was we really tried to make it as easy as possible to get transparency into the shop floor regarding tools and materials management. That means like every customer is able to create storage locations in his own customer administration portal, which we call My Tapio. So he's doing it like only one time, the storage, and then he's able to place specific items in the application twinio to specific storage locations. That means, like, as you see on the right side of the screenshot, you see specific and different locations for every single unique item. So everybody who's got a license then in the company just opens up twinio and sees on the first view where the items are located on the shop floor. They can open up the items and can change the location. So for example, from a material storage to the machine and back to the material storage, for example. And also when they open up the items, they can also update specific customer individual parameters. So for example, they can update the rest length of an edge band, or they archive an edge band when it's finished, when there's no more meters on the edge band. So it's really like you just click or you scan an item in your shop floor, and then you're good to go to update parameters, to update locations. So that's how we solve the two biggest pain points.
So interesting. All the information in just one place. So Adrian, you also brought some pictures on how you manage the materials now at zieflekoch.
Yes, in these pictures we see one of the first things we did for the implementation of the Edgeband management. We created the hardware. You see the Edgeband shelves, the new Edgeband shelves with different spaces, flexible to make them wider or smaller. And below you see numbers for each space. So that's exactly the location Jan already told earlier we can book the materials on. So you see edge bands in these spaces with a QR code. The QR code is generated by twinio, and there are 2 codes per edge band. So one on the outside just to identify it quickly and we don't have these handling process, and another one on the inside of the edge band that we can identify it, let's say, the whole lifetime of the edge band. If there's a rest length, we can identify it. And yes, on the left side of the picture is the computer with twinio, where the employees are working. And that was the first step to create the hardware.
So this also shows that Twinio is working as a web application on your smart device or smartphone and on your PC or desktop and in the internet browser. Great.
Yes. Yeah, and in the next picture, we see the whole working station. So 2 of these Edgeband shelf modules. We have some more in the production, but that's just like the main workstation. And we see the computer and a printer for the QR codes. And so the next step after the hardware was to make the information visible. So we needed to figure out which information we want to assign to an Edgeband. So of course that's technical information like the length, the material type, the thickness, and of course the manufacturer number. But the cool thing with Twinio was that you can completely be flexible in the information you peg on your items. So we figured out that it would be nice to have a customer number or customer name for each Edgeband. The reason is every parameter you're creating in these steps, you can search after it later in the process. So if you imagine the whole workflow is that the Edgebands will be delivered, the employees walking to the station, creating the items in Twinio, writing down the customer name, customer numbers, printing out the code, and put it in one of these free spaces and book it in Twinio. And later in the process, the employee from the edgebanding machine is walking to this working station as well and is using the search bar from Twinio to search for parameters he wants to know. So it really depends on the employees. Some employees are used to search for the manufacturer number, others are searching for these customer parameters like the order number or whatever. So you're really super flexible in what are you searching and how you can find it. And if you remember the white post-it picture from earlier, it's more efficient to search with Twinio and search bar than walking through the shelves.
So here you also brought a little video.
Yes, that's a pretty nice tool to make the scanning process faster. We just found these industrial scanning smartphone from Data Logic. It's basically like a industrial smartphone, but with a 2D scanning engine in front of it. So you can just scan way more faster than with your normal smartphone camera. And the reason was some employees really need to scan 20, 30, or even 50 times per day. So it's just more comfortable to use it with the industrial smartphone and the scan engine.
Yeah, I could imagine that. Yeah, thank you for all the insights, Adrian. Really great what you achieved with your project. So next would be that we get a live demo from Jan with Twinio, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Okay.
So I hand over to you, Jan.
Thank you. Just gonna let me check. Share. Okay, one moment. I'm just gonna share my cell phone. That's I think the best way to demo the whole tools and material management. So there we go. On it. All right. So as Julia already mentioned, Twinio is a web application. So right now I'm opening up Twinio as twinio.tapio.1 on my cell phone, but you can open it up with a tablet or with a laptop or with a PC, doesn't matter, because we really, when we start developing Twinio, we really thought like the different roles in the company, and some of them are using more the PC thing, other ones are using more the mobile devices. So it's a really different kind of, I would say, workspace for every role in a company. So what you see here is the opening screen of Twinio. You see in one overview all your active items like tools and materials you already added with Twinio to your account. So this is our tapio account. As you see, we have a mixture of materials and tools. You also see like some of the data have like blue hooks and pictures and logos. Some of them are really like more plain. You see in the overview the locations already booked on every item. So this is basically what you see when you open up Twinio. You can also go to categories, and there you see like an overview in like a different style. You see how much active tools you have, how much active materials you have, and how much items you already booked into the archive. So it's more like a tree system. You go through saw blades. So it's really categorized per default through specific items and a tree structure. You just hit the Twinio logo on the left corner, and then you're in the overview once again. So you can also say in the categories, when you hit the settings, besides item type, you can also categorize with your own categories. Okay, so you don't have to go with tools and materials. You can also click select, and then you have here like different parameters you already added to Twinio under your section My Data, which I'll show you later. And then I can say like, okay, I want to categorize after machine type. And here you see the display settings. So I want to see always the article number. I want to also see like the run meters. And then I confirm. And then you see the category is displayed in a different way. So now you see machine types. We got panel saw, SawTech 500. So really all the machine types we already added to every item. And then, for example, I'm hitting, panel saw, for example. I see like here specific data for every item. So what you also can do right now here, we're going to hit, for example, the first item. When you go into the detail view, you see always on top of it the name of the item, of the Edgeband right here. You see below that a unique code which we generate for every item. So what happens when you adding items to via Twinio? So we are generating in the background a digital twin for each unique item. So for example, you have 10 same Edgebands. So physically, when you see those Edgebands, you don't know the conditions, you don't know rest length. It's like looking exactly the same 10 Edgebands. But with Twinio, every Edgeband gets his own unique ID. So, and this ID, what you see here, is also behind the QR code. So when you hit the QR code, you see here the ID and the QR code, and then you can download the QR code, or you could just print the QR code like Adrian already mentioned. And this QR code, you give your Edgeband. And then with the integrated scan modal, which you see on the right corner here, you allow access of the camera. And then you see here, you can scan this QR code. And then you're going to hit exactly after scanning the detail view of that item. So for example, you take an Edgeband and then you scan the QR code, and then you want to update the rest length. You just scan the QR code, and then you're going to check My Data, for example. There's like rest length. Then you hit the edit button, which is that pen on the right side. And then I'm going to update the rest length to, let's say, 30 meters. And then you see all of a sudden it really updated the rest lengths in real time. Under technical data, you find specific data you already added to the item. as well as master data, which is like always product name and article number. You see also here we have the Edgeband, which is like booked to the edge banding machine. So now I can change the location, just hit the change location button. And then I say like, okay, I want to book it into the Edgeband storage 1 into place, I would say 5, for example. Then you save it. And then you see you have here a new location. So when I go back into the overview, you see like in one view all the locations for every and each item. So some of the items here have like pictures, blue hooks, and logos. So for example, I go in this one here. So what's the difference between this item data sheet and the one before? This one is, the difference is here, we get the data directly from the manufacturer up front. So when a customer is adding this tool to his account, he will get like the original data from the manufacturer for, let's say, master data and technical data, okay? So here we have the article number and the product name coming straight from the manufacturer, as well as technical data coming also straight from the manufacturer. On top of it, every customer can add here his own additional parameters, as Adrian already mentioned. So at zieflekoch, they had like a specific set of parameters they're adding to every Edgeband. So when you hit the additional parameters button, I can here type in the name of the parameter and the value of the parameter and save it. And then you have it here under my data. So right now we got run meter and material, like which kind of material this tool is able to work on, to produce. And you also have the possibility under settings to archive the items. So for example, when the Edgeband is empty or the tool has no, like, it's like the life cycle is overdue, okay? So then you hit the archive button and then you can archive it one time. So you cannot reactivate it once again. So if it's like archive one time, you will find this item in the archive. So when we go back here and you hit, for example, the search icon in the top bar, you can, as Adrian already mentioned, search for specific parameters, for example. I'm gonna place, for example, here Ostermann, then I already find those data here in the search. I can go into the item. When I go back and hit the search once again, I can go back and then you see what I searched from, like the last search. I can hit the search settings and then I can already say like, okay, for every search result, I want to see, for example, the run meters and the length. And so, and the article number, I confirm it. So when you hit Ostermann, you see here we got the rest length in it, we got the article number. So it's super individual, so every customer can work in their specific way of working. So we are not saying like you have to work with twinio like with this and this and this process. So it's more like you really can work with twinio like your processes are in the company. Also with the scan button, you can add new tools and materials just by scanning barcodes and QR codes or data matrix codes, doesn't matter. Or you hit the plus button also in the top bar, and then you can manually add tools and materials from different manufacturers, but you are also able to, let's say, add every manufacturer, okay? So it's really not necessarily that the manufacturer is a tapio partner. So you can really take every manufacturer from the world. Also, when it's integrated tapio partners, then you are able to add the master data straight from the manufacturer. Then you get the blue hooks, like the original data plus picture plus logo. So that's really a big advantage when you're using tools and materials from integrated tapio partners. Yeah, so that's it for like a short overview of twinio. So best way is like you just get your free trial license in the Tapio shop, and just try 30 days for free, add items, add tools, add materials, edgebands, and really update those items like in real time from the shop floor, like update locations, update conditions, add additional parameters, archive items when they finished. So really try to get that digital twin from your shop floor by managing the tools and materials.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Jan. It was really good overview of what you can do with Twinio, and I also think that the scanning function is a really, really cool feature. So at this time in the webinar, we ask our listeners to raise some questions. So you can do this by contacting us via our website or homepage, and you're warmly invited to do so. But we also prepared one question that was raised by one participant last time we held this webinar, and it was about how to introduce a digital material management to a medium-sized carpentry, and therefore I'd like to ask Adrian to share his learnings about that with us.
Yeah, how to start is pretty easy. So with Twinio, you can start in just a couple days or even hours, because you can do it just like you want to do. You're not fixed with any processes. You can just do it as you want. The first thing is to know which data are necessary in your production. So if you're creating items, which parameters you need to add, and then just start doing, let's say, find some lead users, try some orders to manage the edge bands for, let's say, a small order with Twinio, and then gather experience and just learn and train more employees. So it's pretty easy, I would say.
Yeah, great. Sounds good. Sounds like a plan. Jan, do you have an idea of how long it takes to introduce Twinio?
I think it's a little bit different from company to company. Also, like, what's the status quo in the company regarding digitalization? So I would say, I mean, just like get the transparency on the shop floor regarding locations. It's really register at Tapio, then go into your account on my Tapio, then add like your locations, your storages from your shop floor, and then you get like the license free trial or the basic license from Twinio in the shop, and then you just log in, and then you just start to add items. So you really can start with, I would say, the more expensive ones, for example, and then you go just like see how everything is working as a process in terms of digital tools and material management. Then you start really booking locations to the items, and then you really go step by step, more and more, use more features, more new functions, and then I would say it's really easy to use and also fast to use.
Yeah, I could really imagine it's a huge improvement process-wise in the workshop. Yeah, great. So we're at the end of our webinar, and I really would like to say thank you to Adrian and Jan, who shared their insights on the digital tool and material management Twinio, and also the experience you had from your field project. So we'll follow on with some more webinars, and if you liked it, then thumbs up, please. And if there are any questions, please contact us, and we're happy to help. All right, so thank you and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.